If you here, you probably trying to learn how to record on Logic Pro X. And I'm finna make sure you know how to do that by the end of this video. This channel gonna be everything I do outside of music. So if you want to get some free tips from things I do like working out, how I roll up, how I make my music, I'm gonna be giving free tips on all of that. I'm gonna be doing cup challenges. I'm gonna be doing vlogs. I'm gonna be just showing y'all everything outside of the music. First thing first, you're gonna need to connect your interface. If you have an Apollo, you're gonna plug in your mic and your mic 1 input. You're gonna use your Thunderbolt cable, plug it from there into the side of your computer. And you're gonna put your headphones in here. And if you have monitors, you're gonna put your left one up here and your right one on the bottom. If you have a Focusrite, you're gonna put your mic in the input 1. You can put your speakers into the left and the right. And then you're gonna use your cable. Go to that end. Your USB-C goes to the USB-C. And your headphones go here. You got a separate knob for your headphones and your speakers. And then these are for gain. The peak of your vocals shouldn't look like that where they're peaking, meaning the top of the vocal goes outside of the vocal space, and it shouldn't be so low that it barely leaves the middle line. And then this is a perfect example of how you want your vocals to look. The peak of them on both sides should be about midway between the middle and the bottom and the middle and the top. So this is how you change the volume. You see it says monitor. After I click the monitor, that means that's the speakers. You click it again, it'll go down there, say headphones. Now the volume's the headphones. And then if you want to change the gain, like I was telling you on the Focusrite, how it's right up here. Gain, that's how loud the signal is, how loud the audio you're recording is going to be in the computer. Then on this one, you have to click the preamp, and then this knob is controlling how loud it is. And to activate the actual amp to work for the mic, you got to click this red, or right now it's clear, but it turns red. This 48 volts button. And on here, you just click it here. When you open up Logic Pro, you're going to make sure the input and the output is correct. Sometimes it may not pop up. I'll show you what to do in case it doesn't pop up. Or if this whole screen doesn't pop up and all you see is empty project and choose, that means that the details are closed. All you got to do is open them. Or if your dock is magnified, you might not see it. That also means that you might just have to put your details in, because when it's magnified, you won't be able to see the choose. So you'll just close the details and then you'll be able to see the bottom menu. But make sure the output and the input device is correct. Once your output and input device is correct, you're going to click choose. Now here, it automatically put MIDI. That's not what we're doing right now. We're actually going to make sure it clicks audio. So click audio. After you click audio, again, you want to make sure that the input, that it says audio input, that's where the signal is going to come from. You want to make sure that's the number you put your input in. So I showed y'all to put it into number 1. So we're going to put input 1. And then you want the output to be 1 and 2. Also, it shows you that the device is the same interface we use, because that means that's what it's going to be looking from sound from. Device, and let's do it. So create. So now that you've created the project, I'm going to go ahead and give you information on everything you need to know about what's up here. So first, this is the audio track that you're going to record from. The M is for muting and unmuting the whole track. The S is for only hearing just this track. And you can click it on multiple tracks if you have multiple tracks out. And you can click S on multiple of them and hear the parts of the mix you want to hear at a time. So the S is to single it out. The R is to enable it to be recording on it. If I click record right now, it won't record anything. But once I click this, it'll record from this track and the route that this track is set up with. And then the I is for hearing what you're putting into the mic. So if you singing and you want to hear how your voice sounds with the effects you have on it and all that, you can click I, so you can hear your mixed. You can hear the computer's processing of your vocal as you say it. And this is the volume. This is different from the gain I showed y'all earlier. The gain I showed y'all earlier changes the sound that the audio is going to come in at. That's why I showed you an example of how it looked. And this is going to actually change how loud you hear this. So the gain changes the loudness of the actual raw vocal, the signal, the raw information. This changes how loud you hear it when you play it back. It doesn't change the actual sound of the audio. But it does change how it sounds when you export it. So if you export it, it's going to be louder or more quiet if you adjust this knob. But the actual vocal, if it's too quiet, you could turn this all the way up and you're going to have to just re-record it with a louder gain. or it'll be distorted. Sometimes that might not be open, but you can open this window that I just had on the side, the eye in the circle. This is the information for the track. You make sure it's the right input. Sometimes it might look like that. That means that it's trying to use both mics at the same time. You don't really want that right now because we only have a mic into the input 1. You just click the double circle. It turns back into one circle, and you can put input 1 or 2. Right now, we're using 1. This is audio effects. So that's plugins and different sound effects. So you can add auto-tune, which is pitch correction. You can add EQ. There's different types of EQs, but the most normal one comes with the program channel. And when you do the EQ, it's going to come up into this window, and you'll see a little picture of the EQ setup you got. These are sends. Say I want to have reverb. I can put reverb on a bus and then connect different tracks to that bus. So each track can have a different amount. So if it's like a chorus, you can have the most reverb, and then maybe the verse going to have less reverb for less emphasis. But everything's going to have the same component, so it kind of ties everything together. So people use buses a lot. I wouldn't focus too much on all this right now. Main things you need to know here is the input and make sure it's only on one mic and adding effects to your voice. And then this volume is the same thing as this volume. And once you make a vocal track setup that you like, you can actually click this little library here and you can save them. I have plenty of ones I've saved. I used to record people, so sometimes I would save it as their artist name just so I could have their vocal setup the second they come to the studio. So that's free game. And then there's some that could come with the program. And when I first started using this and GarageBand in the past, I used to use these. After you have all that set up and you click this blinking R, you're actually able to record. I recommend labeling the track because when you have stems, they're going to come out all saying audio 1, and it'd be helpful if you just knew, like, okay, this is the chorus or this is the intro. To change the name of the track, just double click it. However you want to do it, just keep it simple. There's 2 ways you can actually click record. You can either just click this red button at the top, or you can go on the keyboard and click R. That's how you record audio on Logic Pro X. If you want to record music, before you record anything, you want to make sure that the BPM is the BPM of the song and that the key is the key of the song. When you click this and you actually record, being that this is highlighted, it's going to give you a 1, 2, 3, a 30-second head start to kind of get your vibe right before you hop in. It'll be like 2, 3, start. Now it's recording. And if you want to take that off, you could just unhighlight it. This one right next to it is a metronome, so that means that it's going to have the tick or a clicking sound, almost like a snapping sound, to the BPM you have set for the track. So if your whole song's in 120, it's going to click to the 120 BPM, beats per minute, 120 clicks per minute, and you'll be able to better stay on rhythm or have some sort of guide to stick to as far as rhythm and pace and flow. But with that information, you're pretty much ready to record.